set on paper. I lived in China, Russia, and any other totalitarian country. Maybe I could understand these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for rights. Just as I said, we aren't going to let any dogs or any fire hoses turn us around. We aren't going to let any illegal injunctions turn us around. We are moving on. Now, I guess it is true that the geographical oneness of this age came into being to a large extent through man's scientific ingenuity. Man, through his scientific genius, has been able to dwarf distance and place, time, and change. Yes, we've been able to carve highways through the stratosphere. Now our jet planes have compressed into minutes distances that once took days. Bob Hope has described this new jet age in which we live, and I think he gave an adequate description. He says it was an age in which it was possible to take a non-stop flight from Los Angeles to New York, and if on taking off in Los Angeles you develop hiccups, you will hick in Los Angeles and cup in New York City. Now, you know it is possible because of the time difference to take a flight from Tokyo, Japan on Sunday morning and arrive in Seattle, Washington the preceding Saturday night. And when your friends meet you at the airport and ask when you left Tokyo, you would have to say, I left tomorrow. This is a bit humorous, but I'm trying to laugh a basic fact into all of it. It is simply this. Through our scientific genius, we made of the world a neighborhood. Now, through our moral and ethical commitment, we must make of it a brotherhood. We must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will all perish together as fools. We're caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be, and you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the way the world is made. This is the interrelated structure of reality. John Don Carter years ago and placed it in graphic terms. No man is an island entire itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Then he goes on toward the end to say, any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. Therefore, never sin to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. This is a meaning of having a unified perspective. We ought to realize the American dream. And I believe with this method and this approach, we will be able to win. And finally, as we struggle, we do not struggle alone. It's dark sometimes. It's difficult, particularly for all those who are struggling in the Deep South, facing all the violence and the hatred. There is something that consoles us along the way. We are convinced that our cause is right. So I return to Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, not in despair, not in bitterness. I return knowing that we are moving into a bright day of freedom. We, through our suffering, through our sacrifice, we'll be able to achieve the American dream. This will be the day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, we'll be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at